Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey, and I'm from the site Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Excuse me. I kind of have a running gag on Facebook and Twitter. And by the way, if you're not following me on Facebook and Twitter, you should, because I am hilarious. Okay, not really. But the point is, you should follow me there, because this is a recurring theme where I talk about how every time Google launches a product, I'm always like the last person on the planet to get it. Every time Google does a redesign, every time they launch a new feature, one of the paying Google Apps customers, am the last to see it appear anywhere in my profile. And with Google Drive, it was no different. It launched, big hullabaloo, everyone got all excited. I was told to wait. I just got access to it like literally 5 minutes ago. It's up there. You can't see it, but it's up there. I've just installed it. I haven't put anything in it yet. But I mentioned it on Twitter and on Facebook, and someone asked me about, you do know that Google owns everything you put in your Google Drive. And this is actually something I've gotten a couple emails about and have heard about elsewhere too. It's an obvious concern. I mean, what happened is people, when Google Drive was first launched, some people started combing through the TOS with a fine-tooth comb, as they should, and they came up with the conclusion that Google was claiming copyright everything you upload to your Google Drive. Now, I've read the TOS, and I've also read a couple of, shall we say, more thorough and I think more balanced analyses of it. And the conclusion I've got is there are problems with the TOS. It's not a flawless, perfect TOS. I don't like its termination clause. I think there's a lot of things they could improve. But it's not nearly as onerous, it's not nearly as batshit crazy as some people seem to think it is. By the way, I guess this podcast is now not safe for work. But it's not nearly as crazy as people seem to think it is. And the problem isn't Google Drive. The problem is TOSs in general. You see, every terms of service out there, I've read dozens, if not hundreds of these, they all do the same thing. They try to plan for every possible contingency humanly possible. And of course, you can't really do that because you don't know what direction the service is going to be taken. You don't really know where you're going to be with it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, but they don't want to have to go back and redo and get reapproval of the terms of service every time they make a change. So they just sort of shotgun out all the rights they think they're going to need and pray that it works out. And it's a real problem because nearly every terms of service, in my view, is some kind of a rights grab. It's kind of insane. Look at just about any TOS, and you'll find that they're claiming rights that realistically they don't need in your work. And it's very frustrating because a lot of this is born, like I said, out of trying to prepare for the future, and a lot of this is born out of wanting to kind of keep the secret sauce secret. I know, like with Google Drive, they're doing a lot of content matching, so they don't store multiple versions of the same file in the service to save space and stuff like that. These are open secrets that dozens and hundreds of other services like it have done for years. There's nothing surprising or shocking about it. The technology is literally dates back to the 90s. So, long story short, there's no secret, but Google, of course, doesn't want to give out how it works. So it just grabs all these rights without any real explanation as to why and what they intend to do with them. And that's a problem with all terms of services. So I guess my thing with Google right now is kind of a don't hate the player, hate the game kind of moment, because you can turn to any TOS and find problems very easily. And personally, I don't trust these companies as far as I can throw them. And turns out buildings are quite heavy, so I can't throw them very far. But you know, but we're kind of forced to. We're kind of, every time you sign a TOS, you're kind of doing an act of good faith. You're kind of saying to the company, look, you're taking on these rights. I am trusting you not to overreach. It's a big leap of faith, and I'm not comfortable doing it. I wish there were a better way to handle TOSs. I wish there was a better way, but I have not found a single TOS that I actually felt was reasonable, appropriate, and clearly explained everything they were going to do. At least not one professionally written one. I've seen several that were amateurly written that did that, but I'm pretty sure they also would have a million other problems. So, yeah, Google Drive's TOS is worrisome, but it's not significantly more worrisome than every other TOS out there. So I guess what I'm saying is, like I said previously, don't hate the player, hate the game. we've got to do some kind of big push to get TOSs on the internet simplified, clarified, and explained properly. It's going to take some kind of legislation push here. I'm sorry, there's just no way apparently they're going to do this on their own. They don't feel comfortable. Companies don't feel comfortable. If we can do that, then situations like this confusion with Google Drive can be avoided. I really don't think Google has any evil intentions with your content. I don't see what benefit they would get from it. Um, and besides, they can't, take away your copyright. You own that. A copyright transfer requires a very explicit agreement. I don't think you can just transfer that away as a small part in a TOS with a tick. I agree. That's a bit ridiculous. So yeah, I don't think Google's being that onerous. It's just I think we got a huge problem in terms of service in general, and I'd like to see it fixed. That's all. Well, on that note, everyone, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.